Okay, so we are ready to begin business communications, and this is an important part of entrepreneurship class because you will learn how to write a resume. And the resume in the past, when my students write these, they actually use them to get a job. Now, for most jobs like McDonald's or working at Hobby Lobby or something like that, do you need a resume? No. You won't. You fill out an application. However, having the resume will set you apart from your competitors. We are going to be talking about a basic resume for high school students. This will be no more than one page. Later, you'll be watching The Job Shop, and there's a gentleman that will speak about resume writing, and his says that you will speak to what you can do and how well you can do it. Now, that's true for the high school resume as well, the basic resume, but you probably don't have as much experience as someone who's had careers. So you're going to do your best to do a combination of the two. So on here, I just want to show you and this will be one of the samples that will be downloaded for your use to help you write as you go through. But for successful writing tips, things that will make you stand out, companies determine the top skills that they're looking for in the hiring process. So you need to have evidence of the things that you list. So if you say that you're great at teamwork or able to demonstrate teamwork, you need to actually talk about that later on in your resume. So you would talk about maybe team projects that you've worked on in school and how they were successful and things like that. If you're a leader and you're putting on your resume your leadership qualities, you need to be able to demonstrate those leadership qualities. Maybe you want to talk about that you're a big brother or a big sister and the things that you've done with that child to help develop their skills because you are a leader. Okay, the Link Crew, and there's many other ones that would qualify for that. So you're going to want to take a look at this area. Now, this writing a resume is not a race. It is about doing it right because you will get this back to you over and over and over again until you do it correctly. And each time you will be losing points. So you want to do it right the first time so that you get all of your points. All right, this says that with a scan of a resume, you get 10 to 20 seconds. Now you're even getting less time. In the job shop, you'll notice that they say 6 seconds. That's because of technology. A lot of times now, they are digitally scanned in and then they get evaluated for using keywords that were listed in the job app duties. And if you don't have those, then it gets shot out automatically. But then if it does include exactly what they're looking for the job, then the person that's going to actually manually read it, you would have like 6 seconds to impress them. There's 10 resume do's and don'ts. It's more important to look at the do section than the don't section because you want to focus on what to do correctly. So you want to make sure it looks professional with no spelling or grammatical errors. You want to make sure that it's on a standard document with the correct margins on both sides. It's only going to be printed on one side. For a high school basic resume, it needs to be one page and no more than one page. Every single thing needs to fit on one page. Now, when you go to upload this document into Schoology, the formatting might get messed up, so it must be downloaded as a PDF file before you upload it into Schoology so that you don't lose your formatting. Be cognizant of having too much white space. White space is a lot of area that doesn't have any text in it. It needs to be positive. Don't put anything on there that's negative towards an employer or a boss or something like that. Use bullets and powerful verbs to talk about what you can do well. Be honest. Don't exaggerate on this because they're going to understand that when you're coming out of high school that you have never held a financial position for, a Fortune 500 company. So keep it realistic. Keep your contact information current. So everything here, like, your name, your address, your phone number, email, all of that needs to be current. And then use the keywords from your field. You'll notice on this side, it talks about font size. your font size on here should be 12. Some of you may need to go to 14. Do not go larger than 14. 12 to 14 is the most. Send it with a cover letter. We're going to be doing all of those. Okay. So now this is one that is not done very well. That's why it says before on it. So this is how most students will turn it in, trying to make it look good, but this does not work. Okay, so do not use this one. You want to do it like this. So that was before, this is after. And you can see that now it takes up all the way across. See how there's like white space, and everything's kind of heavy on the left-hand side. So you want it to balance more like this going across. These are called subheaders or headings. They put them all in caps. They're all bold. If you do it that way, they all need to be that way. So don't do this one in caps and this one in regular text, or these in bold and these not in bold. They all have to be exactly the same. Over on the left or right hand side, they justified with their dates. And to justify, these boxes up here will justify them. So this one right here, see, this is left, everything's aligned left, everything's in the center, which we're not going to use. And then this is for right alignment when you need things along the right hand side. Okay, so here they're using an objective. An objective tells what you want to do. So it says a full-time position in the mechanical engineering field. You can also put a summary instead of an objective, and if you use a summary, it tells what you're going to do for the employer. What skills do you offer? What's your skill set that will benefit them? So a summary is probably something that is more current. If you have enough information, you could put that in there, because a summary tells how you can help them, where an objective tells how the company can help you. So here you're looking for a full-time position, where if it was a summary, you would tell them all about your skills in mechanical engineering. Either one is okay. Education, you're going to put on here your high school education. So if you've had more than one high school, you need to list those on there. Any projects, this says experience. They listed any experience that they had. And then this is engineering experience. So this experience is just, what are your experiences? Engineering experience matches this engineering objective. So therefore, that is very specific experience. You don't have to do that, but if you can, that's great. And then they list their skills down here, and then employment. Now, I prefer that it goes the other way. I prefer that you put your skill set up here at the top, or your experience and then your skill set, and put your education down towards the bottom, because it's expected that you have a high school degree. So it's more important at your level to put up here that you have some skill sets and what your experiences are. So please make a note of that now, that your employment, experience, and skills will go to the top and your education will go to the bottom. All right. Now, see, I don't like this because here the dates do not line up. Everything needs to line up on the right-hand side. It could be that I downloaded this from a PDF too. All right, so this is a basic resume format. You can kind of see how they've done this. And then here's another one for you to look at. There's just different ones. Just keep in mind that I don't want your skills on the bottom. I want them up on the top, and education on the bottom. Okay, and then this one, they made a text box and they listed things over here. Now you can find a template that looks like this if you like this style better. And these will be available for you just to look at. Now feel free to use some of these words if they apply to you. We're not trying to reinvent the entire wheel here. We want to make sure that we're getting a good resume at the end of it. Notice that they're using action verbs to tell what they've done and how well they've done it. So here they're working in a country club as a waiter or a waitstaff, and it says organized, managed, oversaw, trained, performed, created, managed, directed. They're using action verbs in the beginning, and you must use those too to tell how well you're doing something. Okay, it's really good to tell like what you did at the end. So directed operations on the building site with over 40 workers. The part that says over 40 workers is very important because it's telling them that it wasn't just one person that you oversaw. Like you directed a very large group of people, okay? And then they have some more information down here. All right, and then don't worry about the cover letter just yet. We will be writing one. Here's a whole list of action verbs that you can choose from. If you're like, oh my gosh, she asked me to write with action verbs to start, where do I get these? So here they are. If you're looking for something that shows that you can manage or research, for a research paper as a senior student, creative skills, financial skills, technical skills, communication, teaching, helping, use different verbs, different action verbs at the start of each one. Okay, we don't need that part. And that's it for this, okay? So basically, the resume is going to help you get a job. We want them to look at this and know that you are the right candidate. It needs to look clear, clean. The formatting has to be perfect. You don't want things all over the place. So before you turn something in, I expect that you look at an example and see, is it formatted well? It needs to look clean, okay? So make sure you're doing that. Have your parents check it over. Have someone else look it over just to make sure that it's done right. Okay, so that is for the resume. I don't know if I'm going to be able to switch this out. Let me see here. Yes, it might let me. Okay, so that is the information for the resume. And then I just want to show you, like this is a sample reference sheet. We will be working on this as well. So you have your information on how to contact you at the top. You must use an email because that is one of the popular ways for a company to get in touch with you now. And then it'll say professional references and you'll have them listed down the side like this. Sometimes people choose to put these in the middle. I prefer them on one side or the other. So references are someone that's going to say something good about you. They're going to detail to an employer that may call or write, and they're going to say, yes, this person, has a strong work ethic, they have excellent soft skills, and so on. So you want to make sure that you have people on here that are professional and that they're going to say something good about you. Now, when I talk about professional, you cannot use friends, you cannot use family, because of course mom's going to say something good about you, right? So you want to find maybe your boss, your current employer, maybe you're switching jobs, maybe a past employer, maybe clergy like a pastor or a youth pastor, maybe a coach, a counselor, a teacher, administration. These are the type of people that you should be asking for a reference, and you must have 3. Notice on these, I do have their full name. So it's Mr., or Mr., Mrs., Miss, Doctor, whatever, in front of it, then the full name, comma, what their title is at their job, then where they work, their email, and a phone contact. All right, so we're going to be starting with the resume. We'll be gradually working into the references next. So it is a good idea to start finding someone so that you won't be struggling for that at the end. You do need to ask permission to use someone as a reference. I just want to show you real quick what my resume looks like. I do switch my resume up probably every month because depending on what college I'm applying to, because I do teach online classes, I will switch it up to meet their needs. So I use a summary on here. I tell how well I can do something in here, like I was awarded a $10,000 grant. My key skills are at the top. All my professional experiences are listed, and then my education awards and affiliates are at the bottom. Notice that there's not a lot of white space. Okay, so step 1, resume. All right, let's get started.